Welcome back to Motivation Monday here at Good Morning La La Land. One of the people who keep me most motivated in my life is Pete Green, our next guest. He's a professional tennis player and luxury real estate developer. Welcome to the show, brother.
And a good friend.
And a good friend,
You guys go back
of course.
to Miami. I'm sure we brought you on only because we want to hear some stories.
It's funny. Do you remember how we met, Pete?
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, so I met Pete. This says something about Pete. I met Pete in the lobby of a condominium that we were living in. A really big luxury. Yeah, it was a beautiful place. It was incredible. It was like just a great place. And I remember being in the lobby, and I was on my way out, and Pete was on his way in. He was just saying, and I said, hey, how are you? And he said, hi, how are you? I had never really known him or met him before. And he said, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm heading to do this workshop, this training thing. And I said, come by if you want. It's in like 10 minutes. But right, so I never in my wildest dream thought that Pete could ever show up to that because he's a busy guy. Next thing I know, he beat me to the workshop, and he's sitting there in the front row, and I'm like, that tells me so much about you, Pete. Like, you're such a loyal guy, you're such a motivated guy, and you're such a like really kind person. One of the things I love most about you.
Thank you.
But take us back, because I know that your life has been interesting, and it's been a roller coaster like it is for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, it really has.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely, I've been in the high-end real estate market for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had my ups and downs. But, I'm just really happy to see you.
Yeah.
It is the
nice.
truth. And, one of the things that really resonates with Rob is that he wrote this book.
Yeah.
And it's this happiness from the inside out. And kind of, it's funny, I come back here and I never thought that I would really be in Los Angeles right now. But I just remember just kind of when I read this book, and really I live my life kind of based on what you wrote in this book, and when you talk about happiness, right? And you talk about these things and how you really, define it, it really, happiness is really defined as doing what makes you happy, doing whatever that is, And to me right now, I'm extremely happy because I'm essentially living my dream. I really am. And to me, what makes me happy might not make you happy or yourself, but I'm just, so happy to be here. Yeah. Being in Los Angeles, going to Indian Wells, the tennis tournament. I'm going there today, and just really doing the things in life that just I always wanted to do. And tell me.
And well, it's such an important message, and I think Rob always conveys it so well, is that happiness is very personal.
Yeah.
Happiness is not defined as it is in the dictionary, nor by your neighbor or anyone else.
Yeah.
Society standards. Happiness is so deeply personal. You make your own rules about happiness.
Yeah.
So what are some of those rules you've set for yourself?
Well, first of all, for what I love to do is play tennis. I mean, I always wanted to be a professional tennis player. I always wanted to be a top entrepreneur. I always wanted to be a developer. I always wanted to be at the top of business, own various companies, and I'm essentially doing just that, I mean...
And BD. I'm at the top of my game.
No.
Figuratively.
No, but I mean, like, I'm getting there, in the sense of that, and really just, I've had some ups and downs, for sure in my business. It's funny, like, I had my best year in real estate last year, and essentially I almost walked away from real estate. And it was kind of an interesting thing where I finished one of the top in my company. But what really happened is that it just wasn't a good ending. I was, it's kind of banging my head against the wall at the end of the year, just trying to figure out what I was going to do. I almost wanted to quit my job, to tell you the truth. But then all of a sudden, I kind of just reflected on things. Went on a vacation, my first vacation in about 3 years, and just kind of just re-energized, essentially. And I'm just kind of looked at in perspective of what I was doing and got back on track. And now I'm just doing so many different things in terms of the real estate business. And I actually got into professional tennis in the last 3 months. So I'm just like, it's amazing for me.
How do you just get into professional?
I'll tell you, met my a coach who is top 100 in the world. And I kind of reconnected with him.
And you had played tennis your whole life.
I played tennis. I played college tennis.
Yeah.
But I never really got to the level that I really wanted to be at, And there was two things missing. One was that I never had a coach who was an ATP coach, right? And number two was I never actually had the money
it's an expensive sport.
To afford to really train at this level. All of a sudden, the last 2 months, I connected with this guy, and I can go off on the reasons why, but I won't go off on that tangent. But all I'll say is that I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm doing real estate 16 hours a day, and I'm playing with guys 300-400 in the world. I'm going to Indian Wells with the top players, Serena Williams, all these guys, Bouchard. So I'm just so excited right now of what I'm doing, and I want to play at that level.
Do you think that your mindset has everything to do with that, right? You're at the top of your game in tennis. You're at the top of the game at real estate.
Best I've ever played, but yes, but not at the top yet, but I'm working towards that. Realistically, you have to have realistic goals. I'm not going to play Indian Wells this tournament, but potentially next time. Indian Wells are the top 100 players of the world. I'm not there yet. I'm playing my first tournament in 16 years.
But to even be having the conversation, that's incredible.
No, it's amazing.
But I do think that's interesting, like the coaching, because it doesn't matter what field you're in. One of the common denominators we're finding is that people do get coaches at whatever level, and I think that there's this whole misconception, like, all great athletes have coaches. All great like business people generally have coaches. Like we underestimate the power of following somebody that's done it. It doesn't mean you have to do it exactly like them, but at the same time. So how do you think a coach would deal with you versus, does he do it the same for everyone, or does he take a look at like?
That's a great question.
Right?
You know, it's funny. Like having a great coach, it's the synergy. There are top people in the world, like for instance, Naomi Osaka, who has a coach. She won 2 Grand Slams, and all of a sudden, this synergy broke apart. I don't know, because of the relationship. So the relationship with your coach plays a huge role for me, for anyone I see. I have an amazing relationship with this guy. My coach, who is 95 in the world, played Roger Federer, Wawrinka. He stayed with me through tough times. He has no money. I can go off and tell you that he has a disease where he had to retire in 2013, and he's coaching in Miami, and I let him stay with me for a few weeks. And then all of a sudden we grew closer, and he just turned my mindset around, and I'm playing like every day, 4 or 5 days. I mean, I never thought this would ever be possible. But the main thing about coaching is this. If you want to succeed and you want to be the top at anything, you have to be coached by someone who really made it. Because there are a lot of coaches, coaches out there who claim they play the part and all of that. And I had a coach who was a physio. He never was a real player. He never won a tournament. My guy did. My guy was 185 in the world. 95 in doubles. So it's like that mindset, everything from waking up at 5:30 and him cooking something and I'm hitting a backhand. He's like, oh, good shot. You know what I mean? All these things play a role. I'm excited about it.
So true. So I think the takeaway is find somebody that you really want to model.
Exactly.
Or someone that you idolize, rather, and do what they do.
Exactly.
Take it, twist it, right?
So tell people how they can find and connect with you, whether it's in real estate or they want to play you in tennis, where they can follow you.
I mean, you know what? It's funny you say that because, you know, Instagram and Facebook, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not so much into social media. You know, maybe one of the top agents in real estate in Miami, but no one even knows I'm here in Los Angeles. To me personally, I'm not so avid on the social media aspect, but maybe when I'm starting to get into the tennis, because I have such a big following, you realize that because I have so many friends who would not believe that I'm actually playing professional tennis. Because I wouldn't have even
Well, tell people where
believed
they can find you.
You can find me on Peter Green Miami at Facebook, Peter Green in Instagram, Peter Green Miami 25.
It's in his name. Greens, and he's on the green. So you'll find him there.
That's right. Nice, Erin. I appreciate it so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Good Morning La La Land.